Hi, this is Elsa, and I am very, very pleased to have with me Tommy Robinson, who is a truth teller in this rather anti-truth world and who blasted onto the scene because he was telling the truth about the overwhelmingly Islamic rape gangs. And he's got yet another court case because of all of this. So were you the great student?
So I've never been the quiet kid in the corner. How do I put it? So I've always been boisterous. I've always been that kid. At school, academically, I done very well, but I was still the mischievous, boisterous lad, and that's who I've always been. There was a book wrote in 2003, which was about Luton's football hooligan scene. And in that book, it was wrote by Tommy Robinson. And in that book, he spoke about me. Done that, and as I said, I done well at school academically, but I was always pulled from my friendships, my group of friends who were getting into trouble, and I had a constant pull of as I said, growing up in Luton. Luton was voted the roughest town in Britain. There's a lot of poverty, a lot of crime.
He got beaten down more and more and more. I love your strategy of speaking out, reaching further, getting help. You've gotten a lot of support from a lot of people. One, we like what you're doing. We want to support. So the people who are supporting you, you're speaking for us, and you also encourage other people to speak. Every time you speak, other people speak.
And that's why I always say I'm from a real town, from a real estate, with real problems. And when you said, was I always like that? I've always, I laugh sometimes and say, I always used to maybe cause trouble on the playground. I've just gone from the playground to the international world scene. So, yeah.
You come across that way. Like, I just don't expect you to have bloomed suddenly into this person. Now, I'd love to go through the whole story, but I know that right now, being a truth teller about the rape gangs, about Islam, about European Union and everything.
And I've said for years, on the grooming issue, it's not just grooming they ignore. They ignore any crime that is uncomfortable to deal with from the Islamic community. For example, in the city of Telford, where 1,000 children were raped, that's an estimate. It's much more. 1,000 children were taken as sexual slaves, abused. 2 young girls have been killed and murdered in that town. How many people have faced prosecution? 7. How many people have faced prosecution? 7. How many people have faced prosecution? 7. Thousands of men are involved in these rapes. Thousands. 7 have faced prosecution. So yeah, starting on the 4th of July.
Again, congratulations, and I see a huge difference between you and this person who died.
Do you know what he did? Do you know it's actually so do you know how how strong he was? Because do you know what the police's advice to him was? Move to a Jewish area. Now, you wouldn't tell a black person suffering racism at the hands of white people to move to a black area. That's not a solution to this hatred.
Too strong. So many people in Nazi Germany who were being persecuted, if they could, got out. We do have to do stuff to protect ourselves. And what I noticed too is you have not done foolish things. For example, the person who died in prison, 1-year sentence for putting something pork-related near a mosque.
He put a bacon sandwich.
A bacon sandwich. Okay, great. Totally insane justice system or an injustice system.
In fact, I tell people, when I first started my activism, I wore a mask and I used a fake name. Why? Because I was scared.
And I am very, very pleased to have with me Tommy Robinson.